Have you ever had a stuffed animal? Do you still have one to this day? Well, let me just say, I do, and I bet you do too. From Peaches to my stuffed dog Boo, I have almost all the stuffed animals in the world. Now, you might be thinking, she needs to get rid of those and move on. My answer to that is yes, I probably should, but no. If you don't have a stuffed animal, do you have something else that has acted as the one object you can always rely on? Is it an action figure? Is it a Barbie doll? Is it a blanket? Well, then you must have as much of an emotional bond as I do. When I see one of my stuffed animals, I think of a friend. I think of a shoulder to cry on. I think of a best friend. You see, studies show that pretending to care for a stuffed animal or toy satisfies the need to nurture. Also, caring for a stuffed animal is extremely helpful in caring for a little one's natural desire to connect with others. From an article in usatoday.com, a junior Civitan club partnered with the sheriff's department and gave a bunch of children who have been through a crisis a stuffed animal. An excerpt from that article is, when we hand them that bear, you see their eyes light up. That's what they focus on. Their mind's not on mom or dad being hurt, it's on that bear, and they'll squeeze the stuffing out of that bear. This not only shows that stuffed animals can be the cure for sadness, but that our special toys can really be our best friends. I know from my experience that sometimes we really need stuffed animals. Whether we're sad or we're throwing a surprise party for someone, we can tell the stuffed animals because we know that they won't tell anyone. Now, I know personally that I have said a lot of weird things to my stuffed animals, and they still never told. It could be gossip like, "Did you see what Olivia wore to school today? It was a pair of boots." And my stuffed animals still managed to keep their promise that they wouldn't tell anyone. I also know from my experience that they are never going to be mad at you or disappointed in you, no matter what you do. Now, once I was at a swim meet, and yes, I am a swimmer, and I bombed it. I'll just say that I didn't do so well. Then I went home after that, after the swim meet, and grabbed a snack, because sometimes you need food to comfort you, you know? However, I was still disappointed in myself, and I soon went into my room. Finally, I decided to plop down on my bed and just lay there. I saw my stuffed animals on my bed, and I don't know what it was, but when I saw my stuffed animals almost looking at me and trying to say that they weren't disappointed in me, I started to feel that it wasn't that bad. Now, they weren't really talking to me, but it felt like it, and that made me happy. Another time, I didn't do so well on a Spanish test. It wasn't a failing grade, but I was disappointed in myself. Now, I was ashamed of myself. I didn't want to show my parents, so I got home that day and went up to my room. Again, I plopped down on my bed and sulked for a little while. I just laid there sighing. But I looked up and the same thing happened. I looked up and guess what I saw? My stuffed animals seemed to smile at me. I only gave 2 examples, but there are many more things they can help you through. I haven't had experience with things like losing a job, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing that happened. Not to brag, but I did get Student of the Month at my school. I got home and I was stoked. Once I got home, I ran straight up to my room and did a cannonball into my bed. No, really, I finished it with a somersault. Okay, off topic. I think I might have forgotten to mention that I saw a stuffed animal that I wanted for a really long time before that. It was called a squishmallow. I died a bit inside, and it had a note from my mom saying, "Kelsey, I'm so proud of you. Way to go, you're Student of the Month. Nice work, love you, Mom." It was that excitement from being Student of the Month to just receiving a stuffed animal that really made my day. But my point is, it doesn't have to be a tragedy. It can be a way to squeeze out excitement. In the end, I hope you know what I mean. I hope you know that whether it's a stuffed animal, a Barbie doll, an action figure, a blanket, or even a tiny trinket, they all matter. I hope you know you can always trust them, and you better hold on to them, because sometimes they're all we have. I hope you know that even in the toughest times, they'll stand by you. No matter what you did, they are there for you. You may be a parent or expecting, or you don't have kids, or you are a kid. But whoever you are, whatever your job is, give that kid in your neighborhood a stuffed animal. Give your kid a stuffed animal. Give yourself a stuffed animal. No matter what, help them or yourself out. And I promise you, you'll see an entire change in emotion or even behavior. Because you are giving someone a new best friend that they can always rely on. You are giving someone a way out of a tough time. You are making someone's bad day a little sunnier. And finally, you're changing something. A few steps at a time, one day at a time, one child at a time, one life at a time. And just by listening to my speech, you're changing my life.